Hello everyone, welcome back. So today in this video we are going to do particles in Houdini. So let's get started. So particles in Houdini are done in a different kind of network, that is a dynamic network, and that is called POP network or DOP network. These both are same, a little difference is there, and that we are going to discuss practically. Okay, so that is one thing. So particle is just a point in a 3D space. Any particle does not move until unless you apply some sort of force on it. It could be velocity or can be transit turbulence or maybe the gravity or maybe any kind of force. So that's there. So until unless you don't apply force, that is not going to move. Okay, three different nodes are there which are going to deal the particles. The first node is a pop object. It contains the particles in it, and the other one is particle source. So by using this node, you can emit particles from some sort of position or maybe some sort of geometry, and that is why we are going to use this node. And for solving the simulation, we are going to use pop solver. Okay, so let's see how these things go practically. Okay, so here we are in Houdini. So first of all, we will take a geometry node. So we will take this thing and we'll name it as the particles source, particle source. Okay, that is particle source. But for particles, we'll have to get into a different network, and that is called a DOP network. And particularly for particles, we have to get into POP network. So first of all, we will take POP network, get into it, and then try to see, how the particles are there. So even if we don't have any kind of source, we'll have to get into geo node. Okay, and now here I will get into pop network. So I'll see that as soon as you write down pop, you will see pop network here, and then press enter, and then you have pop network. Okay, so we are not going to take any kind of source here, because if we take any kind of source, we can connect the source. Suppose if I take maybe a sphere. Okay, and we are using this sphere, suppose, as the source, then we will have to connect this input to the this output to the input, first input of the DOP network, or say pop network. Okay, and then we'll get into it, and the whole pop structure is there. Okay, that's first thing, but we are not going to use this one, because most of the videos which you are seeing or you have seen, you see that the particles are created by using some sort of object, but here we are not creating it. So I'll just get inside it, pop network, and then here we are going to use this. So what we have here, we have a pop source here, but as you know very well, we are not using any kind of source here, so we can't use this one, because it is always looking, this node is always looking for the source path. Okay, so we are not using that one, and that is why we don't require this. So what I will do, I will delete this one. So even if I play this right now, we are not going to get anything. Why? Because we don't have the source. Okay, so what I'm going, pop object is there, okay, and then pop solver is there, but this is not going to solve anything, and in pop object, that is blank, there is nothing. So what we are going to do, we are going to delete this one, pop source. So here is one another node which is called pop location. So we will take that one, that is pop location, and press enter. And now you can connect this node to this input, to the third input of pop solver, and everything is cool. So just start the simulation. Okay, and now you can see, press spacebar F, and now you can see a few particles here. I will increase the size of the particles a little bit, press D, and then we'll go to geometry and then increase the point size, because these are technically, these are points. Okay, so I'm going to increase the size. This size has nothing to do with the render size of the particles. Okay, it is just for the display purpose so that you can see it properly. Okay, so as soon as you to take location, it is looking for the location. Okay, it has no source tab. This is birth tab, this is attribute tab, stream tab, and bindings tab, but this doesn't have any source tab. Why? Because this has location, and this is the location of the particle source you want to take. So suppose if I want these particles to come from the height of maybe 2, then I will write down 2 here, and then the location of the particle will be changed, and now it is here at 2. Or maybe I can also increase this value to 4, and then it has shifted to 4, and now the particles will be emitted from there. So that is first thing we have to understand. So I will again take the this value to origin, that is 0 0 0, and then particles will be emitted from here. Okay, and now I want to discuss the rest of the attributes here. Okay, so first of all, when particles are emitted, we have to see how many particles we want to emit from either the object or the location. So here we will see, like this is birth one, and you can see some parameters here. Okay, so we have to understand these four parameters, you can say. Okay, so the first one is impulse activation, impulse count, constant activation, and constant birth rate. So what we are seeing right now, that is constant birth rate. So even if I keep this impulse activation 0, you will see there is no change in the simulation, and the particles are being emitted by the location. Okay, so like constant, so the constant birth rate is 5000 particles, and that is particles emitted per second. So we can see, if I click here and go to global animation options, we will see the frame rate is 24. So let me do it 25. So now in 25 frames, that is 1 second, we are getting 5000 particles. 5000 particles are being emitted in 1 second. Okay, so we can keep this value to maybe 10 or something, and then within 25 frames we are going to get only 10 particles. So just play it and see. Okay, so I have to switch on this real time toggle, and then we'll play it, and we can see how the things are coming like this. Okay, so in 1 second 10 particles are coming out. So that is one situation when you want the rate to be maybe on per second basis, then you will have to activate. And this constant activation is the switch. This is a switch of yes or no, true or false. So if I can make either this 0 or 1. Okay, so if I make it 0, that means we are not going to get, this will not give birth to any particles, and then this will be blank all the time. So we will either make it 1 or 0. And if I make it 1, this will be working as a true switch, and then particles will be emitted. So that is the number of particles we are going to get per second. So that is one thing. Okay, so this is the switch, and these are the number of particles per second. And now there is another switch, which is impulse activation. This is again a switch, and that is impulse counter. So that this switch will tell you what you have to, how many particles you want to emit per frame. Okay, so if I activate this switch by entering 1 here, and then I play it. So even if switch is on, we have not written, we have not given any value to this int field, or maybe this must be int field. Yeah, this is float field. Okay, okay, fine. So this will depend upon how many number of particles we want to emit per frame. So I will take maybe 5 particles I want to emit, and that means the switch is on, and then we are emitting 5 particles per frame. Okay, so let's play it again, and then we can see 5 particles per frame we are going to emit. So we can play frame by frame. So that is one frame, and then we can see 5 particles are emitted here. Okay, so 5 particles here, 1 2 3 4 5. So we can go to geometry spreadsheet. Okay, and then we can see how many particles have been emitted. Click on the geometry and then we see 0 1 2 3 4. That means 5 particles are only already emitted here. Okay, in the first frame, that is the creation frame. Okay, and then when we click here second time, that means these will be 10 particles here. Okay, why? Because no particles is getting deleted. No particle has completed its age and it's died. That is why all the particles are there. Why all the particles are there? Because their life expectancy is 100 seconds, and that is why it is happening. So at every frame we are seeing 5 particles being emitted from the source or from the location. Okay, so I think now you have understood this, and now I will not go to each and every parameter, but I will cover only very important one. Actually, in Houdini, most of the things are very important, but it depends, when we come and then hit some particular kind of parameter or attribute. So then, so next comes the age of the particles. So I will jump back to not this one. I will jump back to this per second value, and then I will take 100 particles per second, and then I will switch on that. Okay, so that's one thing. Okay, so that is one thing. Per second, we are getting 100 particles. Fine. And I want the life of these particles to be 2 seconds only. To be 2 seconds only. And then I want to give life variance to be 1. Okay, I will take not the float value. Here you can give float value also, like zero point 0.2, zero point 0.3 or something. So I will take an integer here, that is 1. Okay, so life expectancy will be maybe 2 minus this and 2 plus this. So that is 2 minus the 1 is 1 and 2 plus 1 is 3. That means life expectancy of the particles will be 1 to 3 seconds. So some particle will live till 1 second, and maybe some will live 2 second, and some will live 3 second, or maybe in between. And they will also take any floating value in between. So but the maximum life of any particle will be 3 seconds. Okay, so let's play it again, and then we'll see. The particles are getting died after some particular time, maximum after 3 seconds. Okay, so here we have seen the birth of the particles. So here we have seen the birth of the particle based on per second basis and based on per frame basis, and then we have seen life and life variance. The next thing I want to cover here is velocity. So when I want to see velocity, when I want to change velocity, then I'll have to go to other tab, which is attributes tab. So when I click here, then we'll see some values here, and then these values are showing the velocity and the variance in velocity. So right now there is no velocity, as I already told you in the very beginning. If we have not given any kind of velocity, any kind of force to it, velocity is also one kind of force. So if we keep it 0, if we keep this variance also to 0, that means particles will be emitted, but they will stay there. At the location where they are being emitted. So when we go to geometry spreadsheet, okay, so the total number of particles have been 165 till now, but we cannot see. We can see only this dot, okay, or the location of all the particles which are there. So that will totally depend upon them. So if I press this value, if I put in any kind of value here in x, y and z, because this is velocity, and velocity is a vector value. Okay, so vector value is the value which has three components: x component, y component and z component. Okay, so velocity is a vector value. That is why we have three values here. So I want these particles to go up, and for that I will give this a value of maybe 2, but no variance. and then particle will go to straight in the y-axis without any kind of variance there. Okay, without any kind of variance there, and we have not applied any other force on these particles. I will give this a universal force, a gravitational force to the particles. So if any rigid body is also applied on that, that will also get affected by that. So I will give a gravity force here. Okay, just write down gravity, and gravity force we will take. So the thing is that whenever any universal force is there, it will come just like this. And if I want to take any force which is only related to the particles, then we'll have to write down pop force. Okay, pop force. So we can also do that gravity using this pop force, but this is restricted to pop, yani that means particles. Okay, and this is universal force. So right now I'm using this one only, and then I will apply this force here just after this. Okay, and then these particles will go down just like this. Okay, so now I will come here and I will increase the values here. I will increase the value here and I will make it maybe 5. So now the next thing, I want some sort of variation in the direction of the y. And for that, what I can do, I can give, I will not give velocity to x or z. I will give some variance in x and z. So variance means that can go to either positive or negative direction. Okay, so I will give maybe zero point 0.2 here and then zero point 0.2 here, not in the negative y-axis. Okay, so a little variance will be here like this, and then we can increase this value to 0.5 and then 0.5 and then 0.5. Okay, so there'll be more variance like this, or we can make it 1 also, and then we can see some sort of variance. The particles are going up, but they are getting some variance velocity in the positive x and negative x and positive z and negative z. And that is why when I hit top view, like press 2, and then you will be in top view, and then you can see the particles are moving in x and z and negative z axis along with the y axis. So they are going up and they are going in the other two directions, x and z also, and that is the benefit of getting that variance value. So press 1 again and come back to the perspective viewport, and then you can see this. Okay, so now the time has come. We do not have only this velocity, we have some more velocity. So now the time has come when we should add some sort of maybe some sort of source. So what is the least source I can apply here, I can give here? So I will go back and then I'll come here. I'll get into geo, sorry, and then I'll take some what is the smallest one we can take? We can take add one. So I will take just a single point. So if I come to add node, I will take only a point, and this point is there. So I'll come here and then I will go to D and increase this value also. Okay, so yeah, that point is there, and now I will be using this point as the source. I will be using this point as a source. Okay, so I will take the output of it and then connect the output to the first context, to the first input of the pop network, and now I will be using this as the source. Okay, so I'll get into it and now I will play it. I will play it. So take one. So that means it is not using the source, it is using only this value, the position. Okay, so I will delete and now I will take pop source. Okay, if I want to use that external source here, and now I will connect this source to the third input of this, and then I will have to give this the path of the source I'm emitting from. So I will get into it, click here in this button, and then I will go to um, the object and then source, and then click on the add and then accept, and now we have the source here. So why the particles are not coming? The particles are not coming because now we have added this source value, and now the particles are scattered onto surface, and we don't have any kind of surface here. We have just a point. So I will have to change the emission type here. Okay, I will get into it and then I will change it to points and then play it again. And now the particles are coming. The particles are coming and they are getting down, they are going down. Why? Because they are under the influence of gravity. So I will switch it off. Okay, and now what is happening? Nothing will happen. Why? Because no force is being applied on the particles. So even if force is not applied, okay, I'll see, can I give any force from inside, like the velocity we did last time? So I will go in the attributes, and then we'll have to change this value or birth value also. But first of all, we'll have to get into attributes and we'll see this is saying use inherited velocity. Now you can see that all the parameters here have been changed. Okay, so in the initial one, in the location one, we had only the velocity and the variance value, but now this initial velocity and then inherit velocity is also added to this pop source node. Okay, and maybe along with that we can set only set initial velocity, and then when this is set initial velocity, this is just like the parameters we were getting in the last one, in the location one node. Okay, but if I have added some external source from where the particles are emitting, then we can go to add to inherit velocity. Okay, or use inherited velocity only, even if you don't want to add anything from inside. So use inherit velocity, and then all the features will be grayed out and you will be left only with the inherit velocity value. So that means whatever whatever if you are inheriting any kind of velocity from the source node, okay, and at that time if any velocity was given to the particles, to the points, then we can use that velocity here. And if it is not given, even then we are fine. We can go to either set this velocity, and then when I set this to this velocity, set initial velocity, then these variance values are there, and then when you play it, then the particles will be moving. Why? Because they have variance. And then we can do the same thing, and I will decrease value and make it 1, and then the particles will go in the same manner. So now if I switch on this gravitational force, then particles will go and they will go down. They will go up and they will go down. Okay, so here I will come in the birth one, and I will take only 100 particles, and then I will reduce the life expectancy to 2, and then variance to 1. That means the particles will live, they will age only from 1 second to 3 seconds. Okay, and this will be like this. So I will go back to the attributes, and here I will give a value of 4, and then particles will go up and they will go down, just like the last time. But what if I have given any kind of velocity attribute here? So if I give any kind of velocity attribute here, a lot of things are going to happen here. How can I do that? How can I give some velocity attribute here? So if I select this add, and if I go to geometry spreadsheet, then I'll select the point, and then I'll see the position value is only given there. The only position value is there. And that is why when we have not given any velocity attribute here, we are not going to get anything there. Okay, so what I am going to do, I'm going to give this a velocity from outside, and then I will use the same velocity from inside. So what we can do, we can now use, we have already used this node to that node in our last videos, and now I am going to use it again. Okay, so I will take point velocity node here, and then I will just add it here. And now when I do this thing, and maybe again I'm not using these attributes here, I will just activate this add velocity feature here, and then I will I will give some velocity here. Maybe I'll give some 1 1 1 velocity. Okay, 1 1 1 velocity, or maybe I'll be using um, not this, not this, only this add velocity towards y-axis. Okay, so if I come here in the geometry spreadsheet, I can easily see, because we know very well velocity is a vector variable, so we are going to see in the x-axis velocity is 0, in the z-axis it is 0, but in the y-axis this is 1 unit. So when I get inside, I am going to use this velocity which is there with the points initially while getting into pop network, and then I'll get inside and I'll activate only not set initial velocity but use inherit velocity, and then this value. So suppose if I make this 0, that means we are not using that inherited velocity, and then particles are not going to do anything. So I will deactivate it right now, and then particles will remain there where they are getting taking birth. Okay, so now I will make it 1. That means we are using inherited velocity from the external source, and then that is going to happen. Nothing is happening. Okay, so here is the problem, because I have added a point velocity after this add 1. So what I will do, this is not a good idea here, maybe to use these things in this manner. So maybe I'll have to do two things. What I can do, whether maybe I'll have to do maybe a null, okay, before using it, and then maybe I can put this as a meter, and then I'll have to call this one, and then we can add as many things as possible here within this one, but we'll have to call this one only. So what I can do, I can go here, uh, okay, I can go here, and then I will call this emitter here, and then I think now this will be working. Yes, that will not work, because I should not, because this is not external. Well, I have connected this to the first context. Okay, so I think this should be not this one. I'll go to geometry source, and instead of taking from here, I will go to use first context geometry, and then I think this will work. Excuse me. Now I think it should have come. Okay, yeah. So now the problem is, because we don't have any kind of surface here, so this should have been in the all points maybe, and then, or the points, yeah. Okay, okay. So all these points will be using when we have some sort of geometry, that we have just taken a point right now, and that is why this problem was creating. Okay, so now when we take this point, and then we'll have to use this first context geometry. So suppose if I don't change this right now to um, uh, a meter, and then I'll see whether it is working or not. Yeah, that's working. Okay, so the problem is here we'll have to take points with that and not all the points, because we have not taken the surface here. Okay, so I'll come back to these points and then we can use it there, and this will be working in a proper manner. Okay, so fine, so that is there, and and then okay, and then maybe I want to give it some variance. So what I was here actually, so this is working as a multiplier, so maybe I can increase this value also. Maybe if I make it 2 times, then the velocity it is taking from there, what I will do, I will this switch off this gravitational force, and then I'll maybe make it like this, and then we can maybe reduce this value also, maybe zero point 0.1. Then whatever value is coming, it will take only this fraction of that. And then we can also use add to inherited velocity. That means we'll be using this velocity, and then we'll add some more velocity onto this one. Okay, so if I use this one, zero point 0.5 maybe, and along with that I'll be giving some variation to it like this. So what I will do, I will make this variation 0, and I'll give variation in x-axis and z-axis. Okay, so now this will be working like that. And now I do sorry, and now I will not, I can use this gravitational force here, and that will be working. But what if I don't use this? And I can come here and I can use pop force, and I can use pop force here, and then here in this force parameter I can give 9.8 minus, and then the value will be same. And along with that we can give some disturbance also to the particles. Okay, so what if I use this as gravity, and then I will take another pop force to give some disturbance or randomness, and for that I will be using noise. So I will change the amplitude to 1, and then some randomness will be there. So what I will do before I add this one, so that you can understand what this is doing, I will switch off this one gravitational force. Now the particles will be going up, and I don't want any variation, because I want to show you the disturbance in pop force. So what I will do, I want these particles to go up without any disturbance, without any randomness to any direction, just in a straight direction up. Okay, and that is what I took from the point velocity. And then I want to give disturbance here, and then I'll activate this force, and then we can see what it does. Now check this out. Okay, so we can give that randomness here, and along with that, maybe if I need more particles, because there are a lot of gap is coming among the particles, so I will go to birth, and then suppose if I don't take this one, and I emit particles on the basis of on the per frame basis, then I'll go here, and then I will activate, maybe I'll press 1 here, and then I will take 10 particles per frame, and then this kind of thing will be getting, maybe, or maybe we can increase this value to 50 also. And then I can also add one more force to give some sort of maybe air friction, that will be drag force, or maybe I can use some more variable here. Maybe I can reduce the roughness, okay, so that maybe more and more particles will stay together for a long time. If I decrease this value, roughness 2.2 maybe, and then now check this. Okay, and I can also decrease this pulse length to 0.5. This will also try to keep things together for longer time. Okay, and then I can take maybe drag force. So that will be pop drag. That will pop drag, and I'll give very small value here, that is 0.2. And I think some stepping is coming, so I will go to pop solver, and then maybe I'll go outside and select the go in the simulation, and I'll give 3 sub steps value, so that maybe that will solve the particles 3 times within 2 frames. I mean in a single frame. Okay, so now this is looking much better. This is looking much better. I'll decrease this value a little. Okay, then we'll go inside and then play a little with this pop force, and we can increase this swirl size value, or we can decrease this value also, 2.5, and then we can increase this turbulence value, so there'll be more turbulence in the particles. Okay, and if I want these particles to go apart, uh, then we can increase this roughness value here. Yeah, so now that is happening. So I mean, this is just to play with the different attributes here, different variables here, and then we can get so many hundreds of um, different kind of effects here. And when maybe motion blur is given to them, when color values are given to them, and when they are composited well with the best with some sort of background, then they creates magic. And that is what happens. Houdini is a beautiful software, and this really works magic. So the need is only to work hard with these things, and keep on practicing on things, keep on working on different attributes and parameters, and then we can definitely get lots of beautiful results here. So uh, in this one, I just want to give you some sort of introduction here. In this one, sorry, maybe um, uh, and that was first part of the particles. Maybe we can come to the second part. Maybe I'll be creating maybe very soon, and then we can see second part of the particles, and then instead of coming up, add maybe taking a single point as a source, maybe I'll be taking a geometry and then try to finish something on that, try to get some more, maybe try to get some more practical things on that. That is what I try to do all the time. Okay, so in this video I have this kind of thing only for you, and I hope you like the tutorial. So thank you very much.